final edition of our Making Sense report for the year. Thank you for interacting with it. We hope it's been informative, and thank you for your feedback along the way. Let's get into it. Usually, we can look back on the year and see that a pattern has emerged. A year in two halves, a year where things gained or maybe lost momentum, some way to make sense of it all. But 2024 will go down as a messy one in my opinion. Some properties did exceptionally well, while similar neighbouring ones lingered on the market far longer than we would have expected. Volume of properties and volume of sales didn't always align. Volume of buyers, likewise. Overall, it was a solid year in terms of results, in terms of numbers of sales, and in terms of values too, but it was definitely far more of a grind to make that happen. By way of explanation, of course, there's a lot going on in the world, and much of it has a direct impact personally and economically on the people who make up our market, in sentiment and in practical and financial terms. From elections to wars, to the cost of building materials and labour, to inflation, etc., it's a lengthy list. With social media now a huge dispenser of information, a weapon for good and evil alike, sentiment is influenced faster and in a way never seen before. But history carries a much heavier weight of evidence. It's timely to repeat a message from an earlier newsletter which went something like this. In the late 80s, prices had doubled. Inflation was rising, and so in the early 90s we had interest rates up to 17%. It took years for them to gradually drop back to single digits. From 97 to 2003, across an Olympics that was supposed to send us broke, prices rose strongly throughout, doubled. When interest rates rose again post-GFC, the market steadied and off we went again. By 2012, prices had doubled, and have done so again more or less since then. Remember when we were happy with 7% interest rates? Now we're hoping not to get back up there. Yes, prices of mortgages are now much higher, and that's been true for 100 years. The market finds a way. There certainly have been dips along the way, but they've been shallow and relatively short, always followed by increases that well surpass the last peak. Always. So where next? Well, interest rates have remained steady for the longest period since well before COVID. With change being the most disruptive of instruments, just remaining the same will have a calming effect overall and encourage confidence. The start to a new year always brings fresh attitudes and positive energy to the market. We expect this to be very much the case in 2025. A big reason will also be the pent-up demand that buyers are working themselves up for. Too many are playing the wait-and-see game. Rather than diving in and buying now, they are waiting for better deals. This just doesn't happen in the eastern suburbs. What does happen is that all of a sudden, buyers decide to act in unison, and then we see competition and rising prices once again. If you are a buyer, please don't wait for that to happen. We are particularly blessed to be here in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. This report doesn't pretend to speak more broadly than that. I'm very focused on this enclave. Here in particular, we are extremely resilient to any negative market influences and quickly buoyed by the positive. Thank you again, and we wish our clients and friends all the very best over the upcoming holiday season and a very happy new year.